Here we are, fam. Lemonation. We're all live today. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Oh, thank you. Heaney says, great interviews yesterday outside at NYU and today's on tape. Thank you very much. We're going to talk about that. I really appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. You know what I love? I do love that we are building a community here, and this is what I love. Randall says, I love you, Randall. Randall says, you know you are a lemonhead when you join the live chat 30 minutes before we begin. Do you know how much I love that, Randall? The best. You are the best, lemonhead. By the way, yesterday I forgot to plug in my mic, and I have this mic loud and clear, right? You guys can hear me? Thank you for joining us on Lemon Live. Lemon Live in 13 minutes. That's a long time ago, Barbara. You're late. We're on now. So, hey from Canada, Denise Massey. Thank you very much. Hi, Don, says Lindy. I appreciate it. Sweden. Oh, Jonas Schusspan. Hello from Greenville, South Carolina, Melissa BH53. Yes, we hear you fine, says Diane Roberts. That's great. Hi from Chicago, says Chastity Bays. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys joining us today on Lemon Live at 5, right from my very own living room. I'm so happy that you are here. So let's talk about what we have coming up. Happy Hump Day, everybody. It's Thursday, right? We are halfway through the week. Wednesday. It's been one of those weeks, right? It's not even over yet. Happy Hump Day, everyone. It's a great show on Live at 5 from the living room. So I'm glad that you could join us today. So Donald Trump may not have been in court today, but he is still in the news, right? What a shock. When is he not in the news? We're going to discuss that. Then we're going to talk about the chaos on college campuses, all right? But from an angle that you might not really expect. This is a very new angle. It's a different angle. I spoke with my friend Mehdi Hassan. You guys know Mehdi Hassan. I can't wait for you to see the conversation. That conversation is going to air on Friday. But I spoke with him earlier today. We taped it from the studio. This is our studio, where we do our, fancy production, whatever. But it was a stellar conversation. As I said, it's going to air on Friday. But his read on the situation at Columbia and NYU and campuses all across USC now happening really surprised me. And I'm curious to hear what you think about it, okay? It is a different take that you probably haven't heard about. And then finally, because it is Hump Day, right? I want to talk about something that's going to help you get through the rest of the week, everyone. The one, the only, let's see, do you guys know who, if I say Katara Rivache is? Do you guys know, do you remember that? Katara Rivache. Katara Rivache. Okay, let's see. That Katara Rivache is his drag name. Nothing wrong with drag, but it just, remember all this stuff coming out about him. I'm sure some of you know who he is. Back in the news, okay? So we're going to break down some of Katara Rivache's favorite whoppers, the ridiculous lies to date. So are you ready? You guys ready? Okay, if you're ready, I want you to do me a favor, Lemon Nation. I want you to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. It's on the bottom right hand of your screen. That is our fancy new subscribe button at the bottom right hand of your screen. So thank you. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. You guys are laughing. You guys got it. Empress Mara Monique knows what it is. LOL. Should I tell them? Let's see if anybody else has it. Carrie C, you're hot. 40083 Svein is right on time. Diane Roberts says, oh yeah, you got it. I'm not going to say the name. Annie Berger got it. You guys know. Oh, you guys knew right away. Higher Truth. You guys are all tuned in. You know who Katara Rivache is. So we're going to break all of that down. We're going to have a little bit of fun because, again, it is Wednesday. All right. Well, let's talk about some serious stuff. Did you guys see the show today? The one we did another show from the studio today. Did you see that show? The show is with my pal, Ben Mysalis, who's from the Mighty Midas Touch Network. If there's anybody here part of the Mighty Midas Touch Network, thank you so much for supporting us, the Lemon Nation. And thank you for supporting the Mighty Midas Network with the Midas brothers over there. So earlier today, I spoke with Ben, And we discussed the latest on Donald Trump's ongoing hush money trial. And he knows everything. So there's some pretty interesting stuff that he said. You have to watch the show today. After you finish watching this, I would implore you to go. It's a very popular show. I mean, we've had a bunch of people tune in. The engagement numbers are really high. Excuse me. So here's what we did. We honed in on the testimony of the first prosecution witness, right? And the first prosecution witness was none other than who? David PECKER. David PECKER. So that's why we said, people were saying, what do you mean PECKER problem? Well, PECKER problem because David PECKER was the first witness who laid everything out as it relates to Donald Trump. He really laid out the entire case for the prosecution, and the defense was, as we say, shook. The defense was shook. They were objecting. They did not know how to respond. They had no idea what to do. Remember, there was also the hearing about what could be brought in, and the judge saying, you're not doing anything to help your client. I'm paraphrasing, you need to bring some facts in. You're not doing anything to help your case. You're losing credibility with the court and with the jury and the witnesses. It's crazy. It was you are right, Melissa BH53. PECKER did drop some very valuable gems. David PECKER was there from the very beginning. He did not step onto the scene until Donald Trump threw his hat into the ring. And then they figured out, oh, there are all these stories, negative stories coming out. We got to do something about it. Oh my gosh. So they brought him on board, basically hiring David PECKER of American Media International, which owned the National Enquirer, hiring him to do their dirty work, to spread terrible, terrible stories about his opponents and other critics, right? And then that was and then they caught and killed stories about Donald Trump. That's what catch and kill is all about. That's why we're learning about catch and kill. PECKER is the foundation, says Beverly Lowe. Amen. And guess what, guys? I could read better today. You know what I did? I found my glasses, but I actually cleaned them. And guess what? I can all of a sudden see again where I don't have to go, what is all of this? French Life 247 says, PECKER is like, I'm not taking the fall for Donald Trump. PECKER shook the table. He shook the table. Yes, he did. PECKER had fake news. That is the one thing. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Who said PECKER had fake news? I'm so glad that you mentioned that because who said that? PECKER had fake news. That was Susan McIntosh. Because you know how Donald Trump was saying, oh my gosh, fake news, the media's fake news. I can't stand the media. It's fake news. Don't believe anything they say about me unless it's good and positive. Don't believe anything they say about me unless it's good and positive, right? It was fake news. Donald Trump is the father of fake news. Donald Trump was doing everything that he accused other people of, that he accused his opponents of doing. He was doing it himself. So the fake news is actually Donald Trump. He is the inventor of fake news. He is the inventor of fake news. Jacqueline Martin, what I can't believe is how dumb people are to buy anything that came out of his mouth. Absolutely, because he's lying. He's a liar. We're going to go through all of that. So you're going to remember, again, David PECKER is the former publisher of the National Enquirer. So far, he has detailed some of that catch and kill, the schemes between Trump, that Trump and Michael Cohen orchestrated back in 2015. For example, on Trump and Cohen's direction, he had the National Enquirer buy a Trump Tower doorman story about Trump fathering a child out of wedlock. They caught the story and they killed it and they never published it. Now, can you imagine if you had buddies like that in the media that could actually just, I want this story to go on. I want this story. And then they push it out there, whether it's true or not. Can you imagine having buddies like that who could do that? Or there's something about you that you don't want out there and, oh my gosh, kill it. I don't care how much you have to pay for it. Catch it and kill it. That's not how our system is supposed to work. So when people say Donald Trump is being treated differently, that Donald Trump is entitled, that Donald Trump is elitist, right? That Donald Trump is privileged. It's true. He's even getting treatment in court that's different than anybody else, different than you or I would get. He's being treated differently. He's being treated differently. And the media treated him differently. Well, especially the media that he bought off, because he bought off some conservative outlets. And he also convinced conservative outlets just to say positive things about him, right? Threatening them, threatening to take away access. He didn't give many people who weren't not, his pals and his buddies on the conservative media, he did not give them access to him. He just called them fake news and wouldn't do interviews. Because why? The truth was not on his side. The truth was not on his side. So that's what he does. He lies and he invented fake news. He lies and he invented fake news. And everything he said about the news, about not trusting it, about it being fake or whatever, it was all because of him, because he was faking it, because he was lying. He was putting out the fake news, right? Stephen H. says, get him a hoodie for the courtroom. It's too cold. Okay. Drunken Monkey says, Donnie is a criminal. Okay, thank you very much for that. But here's the thing. So let's go back to what happened. Pecker, Trump, and Cohen did more than just catch and kill stories, okay? They made them up too. They lied about them. This is when I had an aha moment. I had an epiphany. So I want to ask you a question. What was Donald Trump's signature phrase back in 2015, right? The foundation of his political career. What was that? What term did he effectively pluck out of obscurity, right? I've already told you about it. What term was that? Fake news. And everybody would say it, fake news. I don't want to come on. I don't want to come on this particular cable channel because you're fake news, you're fake news, you're fake news. Any bad critique or headline was fake news. And so we know what Trump was doing with Michael Cohen. We know what he was doing with David Pecker behind closed doors. He was actually making up the fake news. Now, I know that some of you out there, you may be watching, right? Some of you watch because you want to know what we're doing, or either you're hate watching or whatever. And you're like, oh, there goes the Trump haters, and there goes the liberal media and so on and so forth. There goes all of this, all of that, all of that. Okay, but guess what? We weren't lying to you. Are you listening to me? We were not lying to you. You were being lied to by your dear leader. You were being lied to by your dear leader. He was selling you a bridge in Brooklyn. He was leading you down the primrose path to the briar patch. Don't get mad for telling the truth. Because now, traditional Republicans, I keep saying this, they sound like I sounded back in 2016 and 2017 and 2018 and 19 or whatever. Hey, you guys are being misled. He's lying to you. And you know what they would say? You're just a liberal lefty. You have Trump derangement syndrome. I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I was operating in reality with a clear head from someone who had not co-opted me, from someone who had not lured me into cultish behavior. And now look where, all starting from this fake news, right? If the truth is not on your side, attack the institution. So the truth was not on Donald Trump's side when it comes to the press, that he was worried about his horrible behavior becoming public. So what did he do? What did he do? He attacked the institution that was telling the truth about him. He attacked the institution that was telling the truth about him. Then when he got in trouble for these schemes, what did he do when he was being investigated on whatever front? He attacked the Justice Department. He attacked the FBI. They're fake. They're not real. They are, what do they call it? Oh, well, the deep state. They were part of the deep state too. So what did he do? He attacked them. And then when he was being investigated by his own by some people in his political party and others by the folks in Washington, what did he do? He attacked our government institutions. He attacked the Senate. He attacked the Congress. Why? You guys, come on. Because the truth wasn't on his side. The guy's a liar. He's a pathological liar. When he was horribly, and I would say horribly mishandling the COVID situation in this country, when people were dying in droves, He said, oh, it's temporary. It's temporary. It's going to go away. It's like a bad cold. And it didn't go away. And then he got it. And then he developed a vaccine and took credit for it, but then was afraid to take credit for it because now he won't say that he took credit for it, right? And sometimes if it suits him. Because what? He had convinced the folks on his side that the medical institutions, the healthcare institution in this country was against him as well. Do you see the pattern here? Everybody's out to get him. The Justice Department, our judicial system, the judicial departments, the government, the health institutions, everybody's out to get him. The CDC was out to get him. Everyone is out to get him. Why? He's the only person who's right, but he was wrong because he's a liar. So what did he do? He got COVID. He was sicker than he let on to, we found out later. The guy was on the brink. But according to him and his doctor, he was healthier than the horse, the healthiest person I've ever seen. That was a lie. He was really sick. I remember when he walked out, I was on the air live. Another night I was on the air live. And I get off the air, I think it was like we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting because we knew that he was going to come out. They told us that he had COVID, and we were waiting on the announcement. And then he announced. He waited. Actually, let me tell you the story and I wrote about the story. If you ever read my book, if you guys want to listen to, yes, I'm selling. You should. Hi, Henry. Henry is in there, my little nephew. He said, bye, Uncle Don. Hi, Henry. How are you? So I was on the air. We had gotten word that the president and the first lady, I believe, they thought that the president and the first lady may have COVID. And I don't remember if we could announce it or if it was, I don't remember exactly how it is, but I write about it in my book. If you read it, it's called This is the Fire, What I Say to My Friends About Racism. It's a good read. And so we're on the air and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. And then I swear the moment I got off the air, we were live. The moment I got off the air, they sent us the press release. And I called up the boss. I called directly my boss. I don't know if it was midnight or 1 o'clock. And I said, hey, boss, the president just announced, I got to get back on the air. He said, get back in the studio, go back on the air. We got back on the air. Donald Trump walks out of, I think it was that same night. He walks out of the White House to get on Air Force One. He looks like a truck had hit him, like a deer in the headlights. You know why? Because he was way sicker than he led you to believe. He didn't want you to think he was sick because he said COVID was not a big deal, that the Democrats were overplaying it, that it was fake news, that it was going to go away because of the do your own research crowd that loves to just lap up everything that he says and believe him. What did you say, Mr. Trump? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, Donald Trump says this, so therefore we're going to believe it and we're going to spread it. We're his sycophants. MAGA, ooh, make America great. Cultish behavior. I got a text from a friend who says, Don, I don't really like to pay attention to the news that much. I know I'm not political, but I'm sitting here watching what's happening in the courtroom and reading about it in New York City. And this really just brings to light to the American people these are his words, right? Just what a scumbag he is. Now, I'm not saying that, but that's what my friend said. Your picture didn't freeze. I'm pausing so that you can take all of this in. Imagine the cognitive dissonance that it would take for you to sit here now with this trial, with all of this evidence coming from David PECKER, coming from Hope Hicks, coming from Michael Cohen, coming from Stormy Daniels, coming from Karen McDougal, all the people who are closest to him. All the people who are closest to him. Imagine sitting there listening to this and then still trying to pretend that nothing is wrong, nothing has happened. I'm still going to vote for him. If he goes to prison, I'm still going to vote for him. What are you out of your damn mind? Or as you guys know, if you've heard this saying, tell me you've heard it. As we used to say in the South growing up, okay? Curse word coming. Are you out of your rabbit ass mind? Do you guys remember that? When somebody would say something ridiculous, you go, "Yo, you out of your rabbit ass mind?" That's what I can't believe. Now, it is okay if you support him and you still understand the deception and the lies and you're with him because of the taxes and you've done your research and your homework or whatever. Okay, that's fine. But if you're believing that, come on. There are people who support Donald Trump for myriad reasons because of abortion. They believe that he's good for abortion. Okay, fine. If you believe that, that's great. I mean, that's great for you. That makes you reasonable and logical. I'm not saying that Trump supporters are out of their minds. I'm saying if you don't think that there's an issue or that he lies about these things, then there's an issue because this whole case is bringing it to light. If you are still believing that the 2020 election was stolen after 60 some odd court cases and the Supreme Court is telling you, nope, it's not, it wasn't stolen, I'm sorry, and you're still believing it, I'm just saying, like our friends over at Fox used to say, I'm just asking questions. I mean, if you're still believing that, come on. What does it take? What does it take? Now, if you say, yeah, but people do say, you know what? I'm not electing a pastor. You're not. You're not electing a pastor. But don't you think the leader of the free world should have some integrity, should have some moral conscience, should believe in truth and reality, shouldn't try to do some shape shifting and shape a reality, shouldn't try to co opt you as a free thinking American citizen, should be honest with you. Listen, a politician's going to be a politician. Don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid, right? Don't you think the person who is the leader of the free world, the American president, should believe in democracy? Our country was built on democracy. That's why we're no longer part of England. There's not a monarch here. Our country was also built on religious freedom. Our country was built on liberty and justice for all and equal rights for all. So if people are telling you that, well, it's only okay if you're like me and you believe like me, then there's a problem. Okay, there's a problem. I can't help you. So here's the thing that David Pecker said, okay? As Trump was spreading lies about his rival and then killing stories about himself. So Pecker says, Michael Cohen would call me and say, would you like to run a negative article on a certain, let's say for the argument's sake, Ted Cruz? Then Michael Cohen, would send me information about Ted Cruz or Ben Carson or Marco Rubio. And that was the basis of our story. And then we would embellish it from there, Pecker told the courtroom. Why would David Pecker, under oath, get on the stand, something this consequential, risk perjury, prison, jail time, someone who worked for such a sleazy organization, someone who was close to Donald Trump, who had his back, who was trying to help him out to become the president of the United States? Why would he get on the stand and lie, people? Why? Why would he do it? Okay. When the Inquirer published negative stories about Bill and Hillary Clinton, Pecker said that Trump was elated. So what story about Bill and Hillary Clinton are you believing? Do you know if it's true? Do you know if it's true or not? Did you, as they say, do your own research? The relationship, however, between Trump and Pecker was kept secret from the staff. Oh. Didn't want people to know. Why is that? Why is that? Pecker, who revealed in court he operated at a clandestine email account that his assistant did not have access to or know about, said he feared leaks and didn't want anybody to know about the pact that he had with Trump. Now, how disgusting is that? But are you surprised? And guess what? If they had this secret email account, You know they got the goods. You know they got the receipts on it. Y'all know what the receipts are, right? Show me the receipts. And they have the receipts. And there's probably some emails in there that they can go to. So what the hell? I mean, how disgusting is that? So here's my question. Are you surprised that Trump is actually the king of fake news? Are you surprised that Trump is actually saying that everybody else was fake news and that he wasn't? Are you surprised that he's the king of fake news? The father of fake news? That is our poll. Make sure you vote in the poll and you hit the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe. It's at the right hand. So do that. All right. And then we'll get to the poll and we'll get to the comments right now. Why don't we go into the comments before we go into the poll and before I move on to our next subject here? Valerie Wood says, of course not. Of course not. Right? Jeremiah Larkin says, not surprising at all. Susan Faunch says, I'm not surprised. Christian Tomlinson says, no, it's always projection. Elise Dials, not surprised at all. Beverly Lowe, not surprised, all projection. SFL says, I would never, ever believe a word in a National Enquirer. Right? Merle Ortega says, I don't blame Chris Wallace for getting mad. He nearly could have caught COVID. And I don't blame Christie for being mad at him for giving him COVID. So that was during an interview, right? Chris, I'm sure, was concerned about that. But he did give, well, I don't know if he gave it to him, but I think Chris Christie says he gave it to him. And he was in the room with Chris Christie, who was preparing him, I think, to do a debate, was advising him. And Chris Christie was in the room, and then Chris Christie came down with COVID. VAHK guy says, I knew it all along. I ain't stupid. I ain't stupid. Kristen Vasquez says, nope, love your honesty, Lemon. Of course I'm honest. Look, you guys, I'm sure people are like, Don Lemon is ranting and raving and blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you the truth. This is not my opinion. This is all based in fact. This is my point of view. There is a difference between point of view and an opinion. Opinion doesn't have to be based in fact. My point of view is based in the reality that I have and based in facts. That's what I consider my point of view. So if I tell you that Donald Trump is catching and killing stories, that's because of the evidence that has come out. If I tell you Donald Trump was impeached, well, that's because he was. If I tell you that he had a very odd and fishy and scandalous call with Ukraine, it's the truth because that's what he was impeached for. If I tell you Donald Trump lies, I'm telling you because there's evidence of him lying. If I tell you about Donald Trump's racism, that's because there's evidence of his racism. Where's the lie? There's no lie here. There's no lie. I'm telling you the truth and people don't want to hear it. Okay? I'm telling you the truth and people don't want to hear it. Teresa Marlone says, Trump said the call was perfect, though, LOL. Yeah, that call was perfect, and the call to the Georgia folks to get, his 11,187, whatever the vote was. That's what it is. Joey says, I'm getting McDonald's. Anyone want any? Are you talking to people about that?
No.
Okay, so y'all don't throw me off. Okay, guys. I told y'all I had a bad day yesterday, right? It was one of those days. I know I'm going off here. It was one of those days. So Tim and I jump on the subway, fastest way to get around New York City, by the way. And it's not, people think that, it's carnage in the subway. Even my mom thought that. I'm like, no, Mom, it's not. It's totally fine. It's the fastest way. You don't have to sit in traffic. So Tim and I get on the subway, hop out at 42nd Street, Times Square, head to the Schubert Theater to see Hell's Kitchen, which is Alicia Keys' new play on Broadway. We loved it. The people are so talented in that play. The singers, my gosh, the dancing, the story about Alicia Keys' life. It was a fascinating time. But I get out of this is the power of advertising, okay? Do you remember that?
Yes.
So I got out of the subway yesterday in Times Square, and in Times Square, there is this giant billboard that had McDonald's on it, and it had a quarter pounder. And what did I say? That quarter pounder looks really good. I want to go to McDonald's. So last night it was too late. I was like, that's going to sit in my stomach and I'm going to have a horrible night's sleep. And I'm not going to, I mean, not because it's McDonald's, but because I just don't want to eat late. And so today I was walking back from doing the interview with Ben Meisalas and with Mehdi Hassan. And I came home and I walked the dogs and I was hungry. And guess where I headed off to? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. The lady said, would you like the medium or large? I mean, shit, what you gonna do, right? Large. So I had the large. I had a quarter pounder with cheese. It was fantastic. I asked her, I said, please, ma'am, can you make sure I get some really hot fries? I have to walk a couple of blocks. And I got home and I ate. It was so delicious. McDonald's, you should be advertising on my show because ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I loved it. Sometimes you just got to do those things. Sometimes, I mean, you just have to. Am I wrong? If you don't, you know, it's a problem. Look, sometimes you just have to lean into your cravings, to what you want. Carol White says, quarter pounder is my fave too. I mean, tell me about it. There's nothing like quarter pounder, but also, I mean, come on, let's be serious. There's nothing like a Whopper. I love a Whopper. Just laughing in the background. I love a Whopper, but I love McDonald's French fries, and I do love a quarter pounder. Back in the day, I would get a quarter pounder. I used to get the apple pies with it, but I kind of grew out of that because, love me a quarter pounder with cheese. Thank you, Cindy Gray. And guess what? I'm not even a cheese person. I had that cheese today. I'm not a big cheese person, but whatever. I like burgers and fries, but never have a craving for McDonald's. I mean, every once, you just got to do it. I'm a Burger King lady. Thank you, PNW, Lori B. Look, I told you I love a Whopper, and all you need is a little bit. Now I want In-N-Out Burger, says Cassandra. Cassandra, you're right. I love an In-N-Out Burger. I'm getting on myself so much. I got to turn the fire off because it's getting warm in here because I'm laughing so much. I love a Whopper and I love McDonald's French fries. You guys are going to think I'm nuts, but guess what? This is a community that we're growing, and you want to learn about me. I want to learn about you. So tell me what you like, and we can have a little fun. But it's okay to eat fast food. What's your favorite fast food? By the way, I do love In-N-Out. I wish In-N-Out would come to the East Coast. Five Guys. I haven't been to Five Guys in a while. You guys, look at what you guys lean into, right? Do you have a sweet tooth? I don't really have that much of a sweet tooth. I'll tell you what I like. It's right here in my briefcase is right next to me. Stand by. I'm going to tell you. Oh, here it is. So whenever I have a craving for a sweet tooth, these people should be advertising on my show. This is what I do. I do the high chew. If I want like a candy, I'll do the high chew, and occasionally I'll do some Swedish fish. So I don't really have that much of a sweet tooth, but if I do, no, In-N-Out donates tons to Donnie Dump. Whoa, really? So when I'm on the West Coast, tell me about that. I want you to tell me about that. Community growing at light speed, says thousands as I lost your thing because it rolled up. Thank you. Yes, it is growing at light speed. Because you know why? Because I'm just being honest with you, and this is not just me pontificating in a one-way conversation. It's because Laura Rouse says, I'm off to McDonald's. Thank you for that. I used to, like, when I lived in Atlanta, I would drive in to work and I would like buy my entire team, like usually fast food, like McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or whatever. Five Guys, OMG. Holla, says Beverly Lowe. Churches, Chicken, Eric B. Churches. Oh my gosh. Recently, I don't remember where I was. Do you remember when I haven't had Churches fried chicken since I was a kid. And you've never heard of Churches? So I haven't had Churches fried chicken since I was a kid. And I was somewhere recently, I think I was in the South somewhere. And I said, let me just go in and have some Churches fried chicken and just to see. And I went in and you'd have to get it with the pepper, with the jalapeno pepper if you get in. So I did have Churches, but it's been probably 15, 20 years and it was good. Fried chicken and fries. Thank you. Sonic onion rings are to die for. Okay. Thank you. Cool Aunt 516. Jackie Hill says Popeyes. Yes, indeed. I had Popeyes like 2 months ago. I love Bojangles fried chicken. Yeah, I've never had Bojangles. Never. Susan McIntosh says Taco Bell. All righty. Huh. Interesting. So thank you guys very much. This is crazy. I can't believe it. Wendy's still says Floyd Haven. Floyd Haven likes Wendy's. Grammy B says chicken legs are my favorite. Okay, I'm getting off topic, but I love it. Roy Rogers, Chocolate says, I love Roy Rogers. Roy Rogers is still around? Is it? Huh. Interesting. I did not know that. Honey Bear's Barbecue in Arizona? I've never heard of Honey Bear's Barbecue in Arizona. Iris Powers, thank you for supporting independent media. Here in Cancun, watching you and wishing karma comes quickly for Trump dump. Fast food is not good for you, Lemon. You are absolutely gorgeous. Thank you very much. Listen, I'm sorry, I don't believe that. I think everything in moderation. I think that you get one life and life moves fast. And if you have a craving every once in a while, I think you should lean into it and live your life. Okay. I would not recommend anybody doing that on a daily basis and every day eating fried food of any sort, even if you make it at home. But every once in a while, I say, hey, lean into it. Go get that pizza. Go get that fried chicken. Go get that hamburger. Go get those French fries. Okie dokie. Why don't you get back on topic, Don Lemon? So I said, please hit the thumbs up. I did not get to. What was the results of the King of Fake News poll? I didn't even get to it. Did you guys take it down? Did the moderators take it down? I didn't see it. So is he the king of fake news is what I was asking. Put it back up there and then I will continue. But I didn't see. You guys can vote again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I hope I'm not making you hungry and I hope I'm not boring you. If I am, let me know. If you want me to move on, you think I'm silly, I understand it. I get it. I get it. Okay, it's a little warm in here. I'm going to open the door. Hold on. You might hear some of New York City in the background. But I got myself all wound up with the fast food, and I have to open the door because let a little breeze in. The door is right here next to me. It's look, guys, this is your platform. So, make sure you join me. Make sure you put up with my craziness. This is just me at home in my living room talking to you, and I love it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. Okay. So tell me everything you want to hear about, and tell me if you think that I've gone too far. Okay, so let's talk about. We've been talking about what's happening all around the country when it comes to these college campuses, and I said, you know what, we have to be concerned that maybe this stuff will spread, right? That maybe it's going to spread around, and we don't want it to become violent because that can happen very quickly. So much of the protests are not violent, but there are some situations where there are skirmishes, right? Where some unrest is happening. I don't like that that's happening. There are situations where people are saying and doing anti-Semitic things. That should not be happening. If you are saying and doing shit like that, you need to be removed from the situation and I think expelled. We're not putting up with any kind of bigotry, any kind of racism, any kind of anti-Semitism, any kind of homophobia. We should not be doing that. And you should stand up. If someone does that in the moment, you need to call them out and say, stop. I love cakes. Christy, you need to call them out, okay? Call them out if they're doing it. So this is a very interesting take on that whole situation. So let me pivot to this. Everybody and their mother's been talking and thinking about the chaos at Columbia and other college campuses this week. Right off the bat, I want to note that I've been watching these tense ongoing standoff between the anti-war and anti-Israel protests at UT in Austin and the University of Southern California. I'm going to show you what's happening there in just a moment. I have some videos of this chaos online. Texas State police have been deployed to disperse all the protesters. They've even been on horseback. Kind of reminds me of the scene of George Floyd during 2020, the protest. My producers and I will continue to follow this situation, and we're going to let you know if anything big happens. But while we're here, if you will indulge me, I'll close the door, and I'm going to show you the situation at UT and at USC. I'm going to show you and you can watch it for a little bit, and then we're going to discuss what's going on. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to, let's see. This is the video. Let me flip it around so that you can see it better. And then we'll let this. My turn! Repeat after me! Repeat after me! We have Zionists! We have Zionists! Who have entered the camp! Who have entered the camp! Wait, that's from Monday, right? No, is this the right one? No, that was another one. Where is the right one? I have another one here it is. This is it. Sorry, that's the wrong one. USC and UT. Here we go. There we go. and we're going to play. That looks like Colombia. I don't know. I think I screwed up my videos today. I can't figure it out. No, that's not, this isn't Colombia. There we go. Okay. So you guys get the picture, right? You get the point, and I'll just let it roll for a little bit while I'm talking. You get the point. Listen, there should not be any violence happening anywhere. Now, here's what I will say. For the most part, and I'm just being honest, these have been violence free. But anytime that violence breaks out, it should not be happening. That's problematic. But also, I notice that usually the unrest happens when police try to break it up. Now, police are doing their jobs, don't get me wrong. But usually all the unrest that I see happening, there's Texas right there, right? Because it says Texas fight. It happens when the police come in and they try to break it up. So I don't know what is a catalyst if police are trying to break up the violence and then it happens, but it doesn't look like it's happening that way. That doesn't look like that is a situation that is happening on college campuses. Now, I don't think that there should be fighting, there should be shoving, no one should be hurting police officers. None of that should be happening. But this is the take. This is what I want to know. So this is all of the things that are happening at UT and at USC. And of course, there are folks still out at Columbia. In the New York University seems to have it under control. I walked by NYU last night. They were on lockdown. Folks are not in Washington Square Park anymore. So that seems to be to have calmed down a little bit. So here's the thing. I spoke with Mehdi Hassan today, and that is going to air on Friday. But Mehdi Hassan had a really interesting perspective on the situation here. And I'm not saying that I agree with it, but it's a take that I had not heard about. And Mehdi's view is different from this entire situation. Here's what he feels, and you can tell me what you want, right? You can agree or disagree. Mehdi Hassan is very outspoken. He feels that the people truly putting Jewish students and frankly all students in danger, he believes it's the media. He thinks it's the media. Now bear with me. This is his case. This is what he says. He thinks that some Jewish students are absolutely justified in saying that they feel unsafe on campus. There's a lot of wild rhetoric flying around right now. But he says the media is fanning the flames and the rhetoric, the American media. He feels there is no reason that cable news channels should be offering wall-to-wall 24-hour coverage of these protests. He feels that there is no reason for dozens of news vans to be parked outside of Columbia and NYU and Yale and any other Ivy League campus in the United States. He feels that all of this attention, all of the hyperventilating will do nothing except invite more radical actors onto these campuses, and that could put students in danger. He believes that the media proves time and time again that it doesn't know its own power and responsibility. Remember, he says the jurors docked juror number 2 in the Trump trial last week, that they could have gotten that woman killed. He thinks that all of this stems from elite media navel-gazing. These anchors and pundits either went to these top schools or they have kids there, so they are irrationally obsessed with them. If there were an anti-war encampment at, say, the University of Wyoming, there would be no coverage. Mehdi says that this is just narcissism and elitism. And frankly, he says he fears it is cranking up the temperature on these campuses to a boiling point. That's what he believes, okay? I had not heard of that. I had not thought, I kind of thought about it. It was like, is the coverage outsized? Is there outsized coverage? Okay? Question for the audience. Do you agree with Mehdi Hassan that the American press covering these students' protests do you agree with Mehdi Hassan? Is the American press, I think that's contradictory. I think you just want to know, do you agree with him that it's the media stirring up some of this unrest? That's the question. Okay? Do you believe? To the comments. Let's go. Okay? So, Beth H says, Project, I see your point. He does get passionate for sure. Let's see. Keyboard Warrior says yes, because it's bias. Sandra George says wrong. They are young, easily influenced cohorts. Nicholas Rios says, Mr. Lemon, are you going to do any public events or appear? Yes, I will, especially when my book comes out. There's nothing to do with it. I have a book coming out and I will do public appearance, and you guys please come join us. Okay, join me when I have that. But for now, no. Jenny Jupiter says, fueling the outrage machine. AJ here 128 says, I am so enjoying this. Okay. Let's see. Bridget Sweeney says, Mehdi Hassan is brutally honest and doesn't sugarcoat! Exclamation point. The anti-corporatist says, there's not much that I disagree with Mehdi on, to be honest. James Hamilton says, he's absolutely right. Lynn or Lynette says, yes. Username says, his TV is spun. Steve Cancel says, I agree, Cynthia. This is an awesome chat and an awesome community we're building with Don. Thank you. I love it. I appreciate it. So do you agree with Mehdi that this is being stirred up by the media, that they're exacerbating the situation? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Brixton UK says, think about it. A total saturation on multiple channels would get things escalated. So, love Mehdi, and I agree, says Diane Roberts. Debbie Wilcox says he has a point, remove media. Okay. So let's go to the polls here. Let's go to the poll. Do you agree with Mehdi Hassan that the media is stirring up some of this campus conflict? Wow, 80% of you say yes. 80%, 20% say no. Wow. Now, how is that possible? How is it possible? C Magic says, Mehdi rocks. Okay, I want to know why you guys believe that, or if you don't believe it. If you believe it or you don't believe it. October 7th changed everything, says LB. It certainly did. I'll agree. Chris Buono says, media has nothing to do with it starting. The students started the protest, and by the very nature of the protest, it can get out of hand without encouraging help from any media. Chastity Baez says, yes, the media will give them the attention they seek. That's very good. Are they seeking attention and they see the cameras and then they start amping up things? Beth H., agree with Mehdi. He is wise. Robin Nome says, media as in TikTok? Media as in TikTok. Headcrab says, how should the media cover them? How should the media cover them? Interesting. Media crack, the media has the ramp up the drama. Media crack. That's what Cool Lawn 516 says. Media crack. The media has to ramp up the drama. Very interesting. Very interesting. A lot of you agree with Mehdi. Some of you don't. But at least 78% of you agree with him that the media is making it worse. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I don't know if the media is making it worse or not. I don't know if it's outsized coverage. It's my job as a journalist to wonder about that. But I do think it's always easy to blame the media. The media always gets the blame for everything. They can't win. Every once in a while we'll win when we do something and everybody's on the same page about it, right? Remember, the protests of George Floyd early on for COVID, the media gets the credit, Katrina and those kinds of things for that sort of coverage, right? You are right, John Chimachwowski. Don, you are aware. Yes, I am. I am aware. I agree with you, Don, says someone else. Yes, the media gets people blame the media for everything. So let's go on. I want to get to this last story before we run out of time, and I want a little bit of time to talk about it, okay? So you saw what the media said. You saw what you said about the media, 78%. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, smash the thumbs up button. I really appreciate it, okay? 24-hour news cycles cause anxiety, says KKMD Style. Yes, it does. As I always say, you guys know my saying, right? What do I say? You can be informed without being what? Inundated. You can be informed without being inundated. You get to decide. You get to decide. Okay? So here's the thing. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you subscribe and tell all your friends. Call your not hide your kids. Call your kids. Call your wife. Tell them to do it. Okay. So there is a subscribe button on the right hand side of your screen. Okay. Now this is a third topic and it's a fun one. Okay. Elimination. When I talk to you about Katara Rivache, you know who that is. Y'all know who Katara Rivache is, right? That is the one and only. Many of you got it right. That is the one and only George Santos. Believe it or not, the untalented, as we call him, Mr. Ripley, was in the news yet again. The former congressman has announced that he is dropping his long shot bid to return to the House of Representatives months after he was expelled from the body while facing a slew of federal fraud charges and everyone accusing him of lying about just about everything, including his name, right? Lying about just about everything, including his name. He was running as an independent candidate for the 1st Congressional District of New York, and he said he was withdrawing from the race. In a post on social media, he said, I'm dropping out. The announcement came after the disgraced former congressman's campaign committee reported no fundraising or expenditures in March, raising speculation that his campaign had failed to get off the ground. No fundraising? If you're running for something somewhere, someone is going to agree with you and like you and is going to donate to your campaign. I mean, come on. Am I lying? Somebody's going to give you some money. You have no fundraising? I mean, if I told you guys $0, said Lady King, $0. Sab says didn't raise $1. He raised 0 campaign funds, somebody else says. Right? So, I mean, if I were to run, wouldn't you guys like at least donate me, a nickel or something? Wouldn't you if I just said, hey, I want to run? Get it. Blue Tier DP says, LOL, 0 money, zilch, nada. He raised no money. So here's what I want to do for the rest of our time together. I want us to reflect on some of the favorite Santos Whoppers. And I'm not talking about the ones at Burger King. Okay? We've been talking a lot about Whoppers today. Our favorite Santos lies. So let me remind you some of them, okay? Shall we go down memory lane? He lied about being a star volleyball player. He lied about being a producer of the infamous Broadway flop Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark. He lied about his mom dying in 9/11. He lied about being Jewish and later defended himself by saying he meant to say Jew-ish. Like, yeah, I'm blackish. I'm Jewish. I'm hungry-ish, like a little bit. He was like a little bit Jew. Maybe he was Jew by proxy. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe he was someone just proclaimed him to be a Jew. I have friends who laugh and say, Don, you're an honorary Jew. I don't know. That's all joking. Don't get offended by that. But I do have friends who say that. Maybe some friends crowned him an honorary Jew so he can say he's Jewish. He lied about using campaign money for Botox. Come on, man. For Botox, he claimed he was not a Brazilian named Katara Rivache, despite photographic evidence of him. Go look at. I wish I had some pictures. Do we have some pictures? I wish I had a picture of Katara Rivache. I should have thought about that. Just the last question before we get out of here. We just have a few minutes. Are you fascinated by George Santos? If he had a reality show, would you watch it? Or do you want him to just disappear? What do you think? Should George Santos, look, people I think can do what they want. They have the freedom. They don't have to do, but what do you think? Should he disappear or should he remain on the scene? What do you think? Let's do that. Should George Santos disappear or remain on the scene? That's the question. Okay? That's what I would like to know. David Gallen says, be gone. Someone says, no. Sherry Guy says, disappear. LJ says, identity theft was not funny. No, it's not. Academy says he needs to disappear. Kim P. HR Guru says, disappear. The anti-corporate says, I'm good on not seeing any more pictures of Katara Rivache ever. Oliver Mercy says, no. Rose Ann Patterson says he was checked before. He cannot participate in illegal fundraising like he did previously. Floyd Haven says, no, go away, George. Dale Southerden says, just go away. Okay? This is the poll. This is the poll. I mean, not a lot of you. Okay, the polls are going up. It's going up. When we have more votes in there because they just put it up. Santos needs mental help. Says hot ego or hot ego 34. Debbie Wilcox says disappear in jail. Well, I don't know. I mean, you guys, whatever. I don't know. Disappear, but like a bad penny, he'll be back. Says AMT. Round 2 says, oh, this has had to do with media coverage. It says the media should cover them like NYC's ABC. They called attention to squatting, and the New York governor changed the laws to stop squatting. Disappear in jail, Debbie Wilcox. Okay. Robin Nomia says, I need a reality show, please. A reality show from him, a reality show from me. I know y'all would watch a reality. Would you guys watch a reality show with me and Tim and the dogs? It would be so boring. We don't do anything, provocative or anything. Beth H says, even RuPaul won't have him. So hell yeah. Later, George. I don't want the show to end. Beverly Lowe says, I know we're coming to an end though. You guys are feeling it, right? Of course, Grammy B. So hell yeah. Do you mean that, yes, you would watch a reality show for me? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Okay, guys, I'm going to end a little bit early tonight. I'm going to leave you with some thoughts. So today there was no court for the former president, and that gave us a little bit of a break where you can catch your breath. You don't have to think about Donald Trump so much. And here's the thing that I promised you. When that happens, you can just come here. We can give you a synopsis. You don't have to be inundated with it all day and tune in. You can live your life, and then at 5 o'clock every day, you're going to come to Don Lemon for the Lemon Live in the living room, and you're going to get everything you need to know. And you're going to be able to participate in it. You're going to be able to feedback. You can tell me how you feel. You can be a part of the poll. You can tell me that 95% of you said that George Santos should disappear. That's what you should tell me. That's what our poll says. Okay. So I love creating this community with you guys. I'm so happy that you are here. I want to know, listen, so some days I'm going to have to travel. Like on Friday, I'm going to LA. I told you I'm going to be on the Bill Maher show. Do you guys still want me to try to be live from Los Angeles at 5 o'clock? I mean, what if I'm like in a plane or it's late or something? I can't do it. Do you guys still want me to try to do a live show? Do you guys want me to do live from vacation? Even I need a break, right? I'm happily changed my work schedule to be here at 5 o'clock, says Jennifer Lynn. Oh, Jennifer, thank you. So you guys really want me to be live even from Los Angeles? It's going to be 2 o'clock there. All right, I'm going to try to do it. Even if I come on just for a few minutes, it may not be like a long time. You guys still want me to come on, and so we can talk, and you can make sure I'm okay, and I can make sure you're okay. You can tell me about your day and what's going on and what you're interested in, because I love hanging out with you guys. I love it. I wouldn't have you in my living room, right? So you can come here and do that. I would love for you to spread the word to all of your friends, family, people you don't like, your coworkers, and tell them about this unique experience that you have to interact with a news person, with a journalist, with someone who is, I hope you find me interesting, for someone who has unique perspectives and that you get to participate. Okay. So do that for me, if you will. Hit the thumbs up button, the like button, the subscribe button, tell your friends, tell everybody. And so we can, continue our love for community. Okay. For all of the Mighty Midas Touch Network folks who are here, thank you so much for joining us. I got to go feed my dogs. They're barking in the background. So we're going to see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So here's the thing. I want you to do, please, please, please do this if you haven't watched, okay? Make sure you watch the show today with Ben Meisalas. It is an amazing show, okay? Make sure you do that. And then make sure you set your alert to tune in for the Mehdi Hassan episode that airs on Friday. Okay? So tomorrow we'll have another show. We'll do our Trump show, probably our poll in the afternoon, sometime around 1. And then at 5 o'clock, you have me. Okay? Lemonheads, Lemon Nation. We are a part of the Lemon Nation. Bye.